George, this is the first time that we've been here to give kind of an inside look at what's going on at Sunnybrook. It's very good to meet you, but I'd like to ask you at the beginning, how long have you been at Sunnybrook, and what's your own background in education?
Okay, thank you, and welcome. Having been, this is your first time. I've been here going on my second year. This will end my second year, June 10th. I come from Wisconsin originally, so I've been here 2 years. I've been in education about 20 years, from experiences to guidance counselor, assistant principal, director at the administrative level, director of pupil services, to now being superintendent here at Sunnybrook. So I've spent a number of years in education.
Forgive me, the typical Lansing reaction is, so you're one of those cheeseheads from Wisconsin. And you're here managing the schools, but your background in education is also varied from what you've just said, but mostly in the Wisconsin area, and then you came down to Chicago?
All of my educational experience is with the cheeseheads in Wisconsin, which I own and love. Green Bay Packers.
That's great.
So yes, it has been mostly in Wisconsin with Milwaukee Public Schools for about 14 years. Then I transitioned from there to the Mequon-Thingsville School District, and there I was the director of pupil services, after which I left and came here to become superintendent.
Channel 4 reaches a variety of folks in the Lansing area, and perhaps many of the folks don't really have an awareness of what we call Sunnybrook here now, the student body population. Tell us a little bit about Sunnybrook.
Absolutely. Sunnybrook is an elementary school district, which means we service students from kindergarten through 8th grade. Currently we have 1,059 students, 2 buildings. Nathan Hill is our K through 4th grade building, and our middle school building is Heritage Middle School, which services our 5th through 8th grade students. We certainly have a population of about 14% students with disabilities. About 13% of our students are EL, or English language students. And right now we have about 20 different languages also spoken in our school district.
Wow, you have all those figures right at your fingertips, which is quite impressive, but also then you must have a challenge in finding a faculty or developing a faculty that can reach those varied needs. Tell us a little bit more about the faculty here.
Yes, we have a diverse faculty, meaning one, we have a veteran staff, and then on the other side we have some newcomers to our school district. So it's a balancing act, as you said, to make sure we have a stable staff. So what we're doing right now is trying to recruit, hire, and maintain our staffing so that we educate our kids to the best that we can. Most of the staff, once they're here, they stay, which is a good thing. So that's that stabilizing factor. But we're also looking for new teachers. When teachers retire or decide to move on, we're looking for that new staff who can fit and bring what we need for our students and our various diverse population.
We're talking to you here as spring approaches. You've come through a cold winter, and students get some cabin fever, I'm certain. But talk a little bit about some of the positive things that have been accomplished this year and how the students and the faculty are feeling about this school year here at Sunnybrook.
I think the staff is excited. For one, staff and students are excited. Number one, we received the 21st Century Learning Grant, which then allows us to extend our students' day here at school. We want to become a lighted schoolhouse where our students can stay here late in the evening, learning different things, participating in various activities. So as a part of the 21st Century Learning Grant, we extend our school day almost to 5 o'clock in the evening. And
for everyone?
For at least 150 of our students. And as a part of that 21st Century Learning Grant, we're to work with 50 students over at Nathan Hill and have 3 clubs. At Heritage Middle School, it's 100 students and 5 clubs. And one of the mandatory clubs is a STEM club, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we're piloting that as a school district to look to see if we can't, in the next year or year and a half, to have a school-wide science, technology, engineering, and mathematics program.
Where does a grant like that come from, and how did you go about acquiring it?
We applied through the state. There's a consortium of schools through Chicago Public Schools that we attached ourselves to and applied with. Therefore, we got the grant. But it's a federal grant that flows through the state, and schools can apply for those grants. And it's a $125,000 grant over a 5-year period.
And do students or families have to enroll or sign up for this specially, or how do you select which students are part of that particular extended school day?
For us, the students did have to sign up because unfortunately, all the students couldn't participate. At Nathan Hill, we had 50 students, so we had students to sign up on a first come, first served basis if they met the criteria, because Nathan Hill, you had to be third or fourth grade, and of course, we service K through fourth grade. So the students had to be eligible. And here at Nathan Hill, again, first come, first served basis, 5 through 8. And the students could sign up. And we had a selection process. And that's a good thing. When you have a selection process, you have more students than you have slots. So that tells you that the interest is there. So next year we can take that information and that data and hopefully expand the program to additional students.
Well, that certainly affects the kind of lifestyle or scheduling of the day. And it sounds to me like you mentioned that as a positive.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there are challenges bringing that along. Other challenges this year at Sunnybrook or opportunities. Tell us a little bit from the inside what's happening here.
Well, one of the challenges is when you bring on a new grant, and is that it was mid-year, so it had to be up and running in a short period of time. So that presented some challenges in and of itself. But when you have new money, new opportunities for students, although it's a challenge, it's also seen as a positive. But one of the major challenges we face is that we also have our Pride Plus program, which we run after school as well. And that's an after-school tutoring program. And this year we opened that to every student who desired or whose parent thought their child needed after-school tutoring. So most of our students are in Pride Plus, and then when the 21st Century Learning Grant came along, students wanted and parents wanted them to participate in that as well. So they had to figure out a timing and schedule where students can actually take advantage of both. If not, some decisions had to be made as to what you can and cannot do. You hate to tell a student no, but at some point, you got to prioritize which program you're going to be in.
Now, you as superintendent, obviously you work with your teams and your faculties and leaders, but these are new programs. Looking forward, is this all part of a strategic plan, some sort of long-term vision that you're thinking about here at Sunnybrook?
Absolutely, and thank you for asking. In the last 2 years, we put a 3-year strategic plan together that involved 35 of our stakeholders, which included parents, teachers, community members, our religious community, to develop a vision for the school district. And that is a 3-year plan that outlines goals and objectives. And it has belief statements that we're going to work on as far as the school district is concerned, looking at improving our student academic achievement, looking at fiscal stability, looking at recruiting and hiring and maintaining good staff. So all of that has been included in our strategic plan.
Now, is that a kind of behind-the-scenes document, or is this published somewhere that the community can look at it? Do you want to do more in-depth reporting on that in the future? I'm just curious.
We're trying to be as transparent as possible in Sunnybrook 171. So our strategic plan is actually on our website, www.sd171.org. And you can view our strategic plan, our belief statements there, the mission statement, and our goals and objectives as to what we would like to accomplish over the next, now a year. And after this year, we'll be revisiting that strategic plan to see if we need to establish some new goals, new objectives for the following 3 years.
So is this something that you encourage both parents and the community that's investing in Sunnybrook to be aware of and to perhaps ask questions about?
Absolutely, because we as a staff and the board, and I speak for the board and administration, we want our public to hold us accountable to what's in that strategic plan, to say, did we accomplish it, did we need to tweak it, do we need to change it, because we want our parents to give us feedback. Because ultimately, as a school district, it's our job to service our students and our parents, and they're our stakeholders. So we want them to hold us accountable by looking at that strategic plan, giving us feedback, making recommendations, having conversations with us, because that's the only way we're going to know if we're meeting the needs of our public and the people who students we serve.
It's called Sunnybrook now, but these schools have a long history here. Lansing is a village with a history, and there's been a lot of changes over the last decade or so. Population, obviously students and faculty. Perhaps one of the biggest concerns you often hear in a small community like this, close to a larger metropolitan areas, concerns about security and about the issues that students face both coming and going, as well as what's happening in the school itself. How would you address that, Dr. George?
I think we've addressed that this year, specifically last summer. We increased the layer of security that we have here at Heritage Middle School. That already existed at our other building, Nathan Hill. So we added another layer of doors and security to our building. which then forces all the traffic that enters the building to the main office. And that gives you a face-to-face conversation with one of the secretaries or an administrator before you actually have full access to our buildings. We want everyone to sign in, get a visitor pass. We want to be able to identify and know every person who's in our building before they engage with one of our staff members or one of our students, and we want to know why they're in the building. So this past summer, we actually made that happen by remodeling our administrative offices and flipping some of our classrooms to make sure that we force the traffic in that direction.
Talk about the role of security in providing a good education for the students. Is a safe environment important to education?
Absolutely. I would say safety is one of the key factors in students being able to learn and be able to do what we expect them to do. If you can't come to an environment where you feel safe, then the instruction is not well received, and you're nervous and agitated if you're not safe in that environment. So our goal as administrators and the board was to make sure that the learning environment that we have both at Nathan Hill and Heritage is conducive to student learning. And I think with the added layer of security and the remodeling that we've done here, our students actually feel more safe. So we've enhanced that. Hopefully with that, we'll see some increase. You know, it's hard to get at what improves academic achievement, but I believe if students are safe, they tend to perform better.
You mentioned academic achievement, and we're approaching spring, summer, spring fever. What's ahead? What are the big challenges ahead in the next few months here for Sunnybrook?
I think the next big challenge is to identify our students who are going to participate in our summer school program.
Summer school.
Summer school. We're looking for, are targeting 200 of our students to have a summer school experience.
Of all those grade levels?
Of all the grade levels, we're going to select 200 students. We're going to use a tiered approach because we want those students who are having academic challenges as that first tier. Then the next tier, those students who are in the gray area. And then if not 200 from that, those parents and students who want an enrichment activity. But our goal is to meet students who have some challenges at that particular grade level, be it in math or reading, so that we can meet those challenges and so that next year they come in ready to hit the ground running in their next grade level.
Will these be recommendations or requirements for some of these students? How do you approach who needs it and who could most benefit from it?
We're trying to approach it from a mandatory standpoint if your student has academic challenges that have been identified by the teacher. So those parents will receive a letter. And also for our 8th grade students, we want to make sure that they're ready when they go on to high school. So if there is some issue with them not being ready to go to high school or they're not graduating here ready, college and career ready, we're going to require those students to participate in the summer school experience as well.
Big challenge. Between now and then, however, some special events, some community public awareness that we ought to have about what's happening at Sunnybrook?
One of the things that we'll do, it's pretty much a long range, but our Cinco de Mayo program, which will be May 4th. And more information will come out about our International Activities Day, where we're celebrating cultures around the world. So that date will be coming out, Cinco de Mayo. And then if you want to check out our new website, we're pretty proud of that. Our own tech staff and support staff put that together. So there's a new website for Sunnybrook School District if you want to take a look.
We also noticed the students have become engaged in exposing Sunnybrook on YouTube. Talk a little bit about that and how people can see what's going on here, music and theater and things like that.
Absolutely. We celebrate our students who have engaged with our multimedia club. Those students are, as a part of being in that club, they record our activities, be it the African American History program, be it our theater performance, which was Yes, Virginia, put on by our course director and some students and theatrical group, be it our Hispanic Heritage Month, our Literacy Night. Our students actually record that using various pieces of technology, be it an iPad, cameras. Right now they're pretty static, but hopefully at some point we'll be able to move it a little bit higher with our students to record and change things. And they're also responsible for editing that information. And then they upload it to our website or even work with one of our teachers to put it on our YouTube program.
Sounds to us like we have some future Channel 4 staff members that are being born and raised here at Sunnybrook.
Beware. They're coming.
That. Well, thank you, Dr. George, for this quick inside look at what's happening here at Sunnybrook. Maybe come back in a few months or next fall and find out how things are going with the strategic plan.
Absolutely. You're more than welcome to come back as often if you would like.
We appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.